All right, there we go. Cool. Hello, hello, welcome to Fireside Chat number 133. So I think not any crazy news this week that's coming to mind. I'll go ahead and give a recap of some of the announcements we had. Just a lot of little small things. A couple things I think I've thought of or people have suggested. Mostly like little things that were left out of the rule book. So for example, of course, we're in Yule if you didn't see that, so feel free to add that Snow WA hyphen tag in front of your name. And also, if you do so, you can drop the family name and such. I drop my title, for example, partially for character limits, partially because we're kind of doing a throwback to the Battle.net usernames, where your name would be, WA hyphen Bestborger, for example, and nothing else. We do the family names now because essentially, that kind of comes down to Discord being a bit of a fusion of the Battle.net chat channel we had and the forums and kind of all of our platforms, even other ones like Xfire we used for a while, AOL, all that kind of stuff. So kind of bundles all that together. So that's how we kind of wound up with this idea. But I think it's a cool one. But anyway, yeah. Yule names, and the plan is on the 21st on Yule we'll do some cool stuff. Haven't revealed that yet. We've got some plans. Kind of been discussing some stuff. Usually that's when I give out honors and awards and stuff like that. So stay tuned for that kind of thing, and possibly some other things. Story time channel. We'll probably gather here in Cert Holler as well, and just hang out, maybe discuss Secret Odin, that kind of thing. In addition, let's see. Oh, yeah, reminder that if you host an event, make sure you post in the archives channel the day of the event, what it was called, and who showed up. And technically, that isn't something that's going to be required for an event straight up, but it essentially is, because the goal with events is, first of all, we want to record events being hosted so that we know who's hosting them. And that's a thing that really helps the clan is hosting an event. So we want to make sure that we can acknowledge those people and note it down, and we're aware of it, looking at promoting people. And also, attending events is another way to get promoted. So we want to make sure we have an eye on who's active, who's showing up to events, and helping out that way. So that's the main thing. And especially if you're an officer, of course, hosting an event at least once a month is a requirement. And posting in the archives is kind of the proof of that as well. So make sure if you do host an event, you post a brief little summary there in the archives as well. Moving on, I think the big focus this week is kind of the a list of kind of things I've got on the docket to do this month. So for one, well, you can check out the to-do list in the library, and admittedly, I know there's been a little bit of confusion because I kind of use it as like I'll just write down my thoughts and ideas there. So it's not always like things somebody else can help me with, but it's kind of part of my efforts to kind of give people an idea of stuff that is kind of on the way as far as ideas I've had, and also stuff that I could use some help with. But I would say the big ones are I want to do some more house stuff. With the dissolution of platoons, I think there's kind of this opportunity to funnel some of our efforts into, on the one hand, special forces units. So we've got the, well, of course, House Warden and House Commander have their night orders, but more specifically, we've got, hello, Kusiag. More specifically, we've got the Kvasir's Composers and the Knights of Hell, both of which are, well, I say new. They're not new. They're carried over from the two platoons. But there's kind of the opportunity for more work to be done there, I think, if they want to. So I think that's one thing for me, myself. I have some ideas for a potential Special Forces unit. And also, I'd like to get some more stuff done for House Stippity and try to get the other House Lords and Princes and Earls kind of get things sorted there, which involves maybe appointing people to some open positions, figuring out some of the families. Because especially with all these reservists coming back, we've got houses like Blitzkrieg and Thief that now technically do have members in them again. So I want to get those families and such sorted, and that ultimately falls to me for some of those houses, because to be a house lord or earl or prince, for example, you do need to be of the rank marine or higher. Is how it works right now. So basically, without, for example, a lord for Blitzkrieg and Thief, we've got some stuff to figure out there. Mostly just terminology, basically. So, like I'm saying, like names of families. Because if you look back at some, we've got lots of old families that are kind of dead in WA that maybe, oh, now they're kind of back. Like, for example, the Wilflings, for example, right? I mean, Arctis, we've got some others in House Commander that are still on the server that are now back in the clan as reservists. So a lot of these families are back, so we got to kind of get all that stuff figured out. So, for example, I've been rolling with for House Blitzkrieg. Everyone in House Blitzkrieg is in the Hoenn family. So that's the old family that rules and Blitzkrieg were in, which is kind of now defunct. But I think I like the family name, and it's a bit of a famous one. And I think as the founding family of the house, it makes sense to kind of have everyone in the house in that family. But that's just one little example there, kind of getting some of that stuff figured out. As well, yeah, so house stuff. I made a new House Deputy lineage chart, but I'm not totally happy with it. I think it's a good working model. At least it has most of the people. I'm still going through, and I'm, of course, requesting the help from other house lords, earls, princes, and officers and NCOs, too. If you spot anybody who's a guest on the server who was at one point a member, let me or another officer know so we can get them the right roles, because they are now a reservist. Yeah, so that's one thing I've been doing and adding a couple of deputy members and such like that. So yeah, that's kind of the idea. There is some exceptions to that based on people have been reprimanded or demoted or stuff in the past. But aside from those, generally we are re-adding a lot of people. So that's one thing that's been happening. It's greatly expanding lineage charts, which was why I'd like to get new lineage charts for all the houses and even some of the families too in WA. Get all that stuff out, and it takes time, but I've already talked to the other house lords and princes about that. So hopefully we can start to get that done, and I'll continue working on house deputy stuff. And we have some more house deputy stuff to get figured out behind the scenes as well, which I need to put some work into as well. And let's see. A couple other things. The Book of Names I need to get put together. That's still a work in progress, but I think I'm pretty close to having the visual book designed, and then it will just be actually putting the names in, and I will announce in Obsidian Hall as well. Everyone who's a Marine Plus member gets their name recorded there, so basically our current full membership of the clan, Marine Plus members will get recorded there in a big, pile of names initially, and I also want to put in stuff like the Einar Yar and stuff in there as well, kind of honored past members. So that's the plan. And yeah, I'd like to get that done. That's pretty high on the priority list. There's some other stuff too. We're kind of really diving in head first as far as getting all these events running. I mean, we have some, of course, and I appreciate people who have kept events running for a long time now. I know World of Warships Night, Warframe Night have been going on for a while. I know we've had some others like StarCraft Destiny Night that I think have come and gone a little bit, but we're long-time ones, so that helps out a lot, and that's kind of what we wound up deciding on pivoting towards as the big focus for the clan right now, is just having lots of events going on so that there's stuff for people to join. And it doesn't have to be stuff that we get 10 people showing up every time or something. It can just be simple stuff. Hangouts can be almost anything. It doesn't have to be a specific game. So leading into that, or, linked to that, as well is the idea of streaming. So it's something I've just started to do a little bit. Of course, I'm going to have my casting practice, League of Legends casting night here in about 51 minutes. And I stream that on my personal Twitch and basically host it on the WA Twitch. So that's something I've talked about, and a few people have been in contact with me too. Shout out to, I know, Ulfwald and Athvaller at the very least had mentioned it. The idea of streaming and then having that hosted on WA Twitch or streaming directly to the WA Twitch. And that's kind of an event too, right? Because basically if we schedule the streaming, we go there. But they're already hosted on the WA Twitch, so you may have caught Ulfwald earlier if you did. But basically, the dream is to have kind of a WA TV running 24/7. It might be unrealistic, but our goal is to try to get a lot of kind of Twitch stuff going on, and hopefully kind of wipe some of the cobwebs off of our social media as well. I try to post on our Twitter and Facebook every once in a real long while if I think of an important announcement or something like that. But unfortunately, I don't see a lot of use because it's just it's one of those things that we really need somebody running that specifically as one of just one or two duties. So if you are an officer or an NCO and you are looking for something to do, let me know. Some people have reached out with that as a line of inquiry or other questions, and I appreciate that because honestly, there's a lot of information out there, and it's hard to get that to everybody. And a lot of times, it requires if people have questions or they're confused, talking to me or another officer to find out. And if you talk to another officer and they don't know, then they can talk to me, or maybe I don't know and I talk to somebody else. But we'll get it figured out somewhere down the line. So I actually just appreciate anybody reaching out, for any reason really, because it makes first of all, it shows you care, which is cool, and also it helps us make sure everyone knows what's going on. But yeah, that's kind of stuff that we have working on. We will be working on here soon. There's some other stuff in the to-do list, which is maybe more ambitious and less likely to happen in the near future. For example, getting the Codex of the Ice here back online on the Lohi bot here on Discord. Stuff like that are those are really big things, but potentially people could help with that. So yeah, like I said, if you want to help out with stuff in the to-do list, message me or message some officers. We'll see what we can certainly find stuff for people to do if they're looking for stuff to do. But with that, I think we'll jump over to office hours here in a minute. So we'll see everybody for that.